Good evening, campers, and welcome aboard the Starship Nightwish. I'm Commander Exorcist, and it is time for Talk O Tuesday. This is my weekly show where I pick a Galnet article and talk about it and discuss kind of what's going on in the greater Elite Dangerous galaxy. And last week we had some interesting developments with the Thargoids and Sirius. And this week, we're back to politics. Yippee-ki-yay. However, this one's a little interesting. There's a twist to this. And I skimmed over a little bit, didn't read the whole thing because I like to kind of experience it firsthand with you guys as we go through it. So I don't know if you remember, but Bryanna Blanco, she's this Federalist Times investigative reporter who's out there trying to prove that Zachary Rackham is the infamous Calico Zack, space pirate. And, I kind of wish that Zack had kind of leaned into that persona. I think the whole, pirate redemption arc would have really played to the audiences, to the voters in the Federation, which, by the way, we got to talk about the votes. But he really didn't. He went full-on politician and just flat-out denied that he was ever involved in any of that. And so it's just kind of unfortunate that it went that way because there's been some developments. So they hired this investigative service called Wallglass. That's going to be fun to say. Wallglass links Rackham to Calico Zack. So apparently the Wallglass investigative service has found evidence that directly implicates Zachary Rackham as the infamous pirate lord. We're going to go through this article, talk about it a little bit. Let's get started. So the Federal Times has published evidence that trillionaire and presidential candidate Zachary Rackham was once the pirate lord Calico Zack. The newsfeed featured a detailed expose by financial journalist Bryanna Blanco. Brianna's just a useful idiot, man, but I think she might have done some damage here. We're going to see what happens. The Wallglass Investigations Agency has confirmed my long-held suspicions about Zachary Rackham's past. With the timely assistance of independent pilots, we have unearthed a message archive concealed in the Zeta Triangulus Australia system. Good grief. So, I would attribute independent pilots to anonymous sources. If you try hard enough, you can find an anonymous source to confirm any suspicion or any conspiracy theory because they're anonymous and they're not always real. Sometimes they're made up. And if you don't think that journalists make up anonymous sources, you really, really don't understand how journalism works. Independent pilots, not federal authorities, not imperial authorities, not someone with some rank and ability and say-so in these bureaucracies, but independent pilots like me. I mean, I guess that, I would hope that if I told you guys that Zachary Rackham was actually a pirate lord that you would believe me, because I wouldn't lie to you. This was created as insurance by a pirate named Angelo DeFries. Wallglass's analysis revealed that DeFries learned of Zachary Rackham's alter ego over 16 years ago and threatened to transmit evidence to several news feeds, including, ironically, us here at the Federal Times. What are the chances of that? My God, this is just too convenient. And you know what sucks is that people are going to buy into this. Like, they're going to see, oh, wow, well, he really was this horrible person, and they're going to immediately write him off, and, it's just really crazy that the bias is so apparent, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that the bias is out there. People are just going to eat this up because the news is telling them so. Don't believe everything you read. Don't believe everything you hear. If it seems too convenient, it probably is. While DeFries seems to have disappeared around 3292 with his evidence withheld, Conversations from that period were traced to the Wishbone Point facility. Wallglass, in conjunction with volunteer pilots, tracked down and decrypted the damning logs. So if I create a video log, and I'm going to sit here and I'm going to let's pick a commander, Orange Phoenix. So I know Orange Phoenix, and I love Orange Phoenix. He's a friend of mine. But I'm going to say that Orange Phoenix is a notorious pirate lord, and that he's destroyed several cruise ships, and he stole from people, and he's just all around a horrible person. And I'm going to put that in a log, and I'm going to store that in a computer somewhere. And then I'm going to leave it. There's no evidence. It's just my opinion, just me saying that. And then they're going to pick this up and go with it. We have found logs that show that Zachary Rackham was a pirate lord. No, you actually found logs of someone telling you that Zachary Rackham is a pirate lord. That's all you found. That's not evidence. That's testimony. There is a difference. And testimony is just that. It's just the word of a person. And people lie. All people lie. A lot. This vindicates my many years investigating Rackham's criminal activities and corruptions. More importantly, we have proved the Federation is at risk of electing a pirate lord as president. No, you have not. You've proven nothing. You've proven nothing. What you've proven is that you're capable of generating the perfect discovery. Where was this stuff years ago? Why has it been 16 years, apparently, that this stuff was left, and all of a sudden, when Zachary Rackham is on the path to potentially becoming the federal president, that all of a sudden this stuff appears? Man, this stuff has been happening for centuries in politics. This is what happens. And it's like any story. When you hear a story about things like this, especially politicians, you know, it's not always true, but there's always some truth to it. There's a little nugget usually there, and by the time we hear it, it's all messed up, and it's a lot bigger than it really was. And I think that in this case, you know, if I was on a jury, and they presented this to me, I wouldn't trust it, because how do I know that this isn't forged? And how do I know that the person telling the truth, Angelo DeFries, what if they have some kind of beef with Rackham, and that's all they want to do? Because it seems very suspect. The timing is everything. Because if this had come out, let's say this had come out last year, no big deal, right? It's an expose exploring the idea that Zachary Rackham used to be a pirate. Big freaking deal. Most people won't care. He's a rich guy. He's got all this cool toys. Nobody really cares. All they want to do is be in his circle and get his money. That's what they do to rich people. That's what people do. They gravitate so that they can be a part of that social structure for money and activity. But now that he's a potential presidential candidate, it's much different, because now it takes on a political aspect. It's deeply political, the move. Straight up. You can't say that it's legal. Oh, we're just doing justice and we're doing the right thing and we want to make sure. No, this is a political hit job. That's straight up. That's all it is. It's a political hit job on this guy. Is it right? I mean, objectively, no, I would think. But then, I don't know. I don't know if it's objectively or not. It's kind of my opinion. My opinion is that it's not right, because it's really not any evidence. It's a piece of evidence, but we don't know much about it. Where did this evidence come from? You know, have we had time to study the actual logs? Have we had independent authorities investigate the logs, look at the metadata, and all the other stuff that would verify this information? Because one, we have to make sure that it's not fake. And then once we verify that it's not fake, then we have to assess the reliability of the person that made that recording, which, by the way, they've disappeared. Interesting. Vox Galactica reporter Patricia Chen covered the story. Mr. Rackham strenuously denied these allegations, stating that he always tolerated being associated with a mythical figure, as it gave him an aura of danger that was useful in boardroom meetings. Hey, so he did lean into it a little bit. It's probably why he made so much money. This idea that if you don't bow to the Rackham fortune, they're going to come and take your stuff anyway, which is reasonable. His devoted followers say that the evidence was manufactured for Wallglass to find. That's what I just said. Man, I'm glad I don't read these. I'm glad I don't read these. And that Bryanna Blanco is secretly funded by either Jerome Archer or Felicia Winters. It's possible. It's possible. They do opposition research and sabotage. Political sabotage is a real thing. It really is. Just like corporate sabotage. It's a real thing. It's possible. I don't know if it's those two, but somebody is funding her, because they're specifically targeting him. However, high-profile supporters such as business magnate Sir Randolph Plaskett and icecaster Shura Oaken have publicly withdrawn their support. And there you go. See what's happening. People just buy into it. They don't take time to look at the evidence in front of them to really analyze what's going on. They just bail out. Flakes, man. The value of shares in Rackham Capital Investments has also nosedived. And stock market's one thing, and what goes down usually comes back up, especially for somebody like Rackham. His investments are so diversified, it's not like he's invested in one thing. It's not like he just trades in gold, okay? There's so many other things that Rackham does that it'll hurt him financially, at least initially. His net worth will probably take a hit and his stock prices, but his enterprise is too large to fail based on something like this. With a month until the voting period opens, this discovery has disrupted an already much delayed federal election. Okay, I'm not going to go on a rant too much, but I really want to talk about this line, okay? Because I've been thinking about this. Please, somebody tell me, wasn't this election already supposed to be over? I feel like we've been preparing for this election all year long, and I thought it was supposed to happen over the summer, but it hasn't happened. We're constantly campaigning, and we're constantly hearing about Zack and his pirate stuff. Where's the election? I thought we were going to be done with this, and by the fall, we'd be on to other things. But here we are again talking about Zach Rackham and Bryanna Blanco, who I honestly would, at this point, think that we should just put into a cage and let them fight it out. Seriously, I'd live stream that. It's crazy. It really is. And I think it's a political hit job, and it's going to be successful in some capacities. And, here's what I hope. Here's what I think is really going to happen. Zach Rackham's not going to be president of the Federation. He's really not. Because I think he as a character is needed in other places, okay, as far as his lore, his background, his running of his companies and stuff like that. I think it's going to be Winters or Jerome Archer, one of those two. And stepping out of character for a moment, I think a large part of that has to do with the fact that we don't even have key art for Zach Rackham. Like, we don't even have a picture of the guy. So for Elite, it would be nice. Some more key art would be cool for these characters. It would be cool to see these people. If you want to see some really cool art, by the way, as a plug, go on Twitter and check out Commander Fosdyke. They do amazing artwork, 3D renders of these characters based on their descriptions and stuff. So if you really want to see what some of these folks look like, or at least what they're projected to look like, check out their Twitter feed. They've got some really cool stuff out there. I think this is dirty, and I don't buy it. I think it's going to work. I think it's unfortunately going to work. But I don't think that Zach's going to take this laying down. So I wouldn't be surprised if next week's article is some kind of retort from Zachary, kind of beating it at Bryanna in this story. So we'll have to wait and see, but that's kind of a hard one. He's still got a chance, but I just don't see it happening, and I think it's both for game purposes and for lore purposes. I think he's taking too much of a beating, and he's potentially too much of a liability as a presidential candidate. Too much baggage. But we'll see. Maybe the people really want change, and I'd be all for that. Hey, these are the Holy Disciples. Thank you all for your continued support of this channel. Been doing a lot of content lately. A lot of exciting stuff happening. The channel's growing. And these are the people that help make it possible. If you would like to support the channel, Every little bit helps. And, I appreciate every little thing that gets done for me. Patreon.com/Commander Exorcist is the primary way. Go there. I do some special videos, behind the scenes stuff occasionally. And it's just an opportunity to connect with some like-minded folks and enjoy and help support me in what I do. And this support goes out for all of my social media. So YouTube, Twitter, and all the other stuff that's out there. So I really appreciate it. And that is the end of tonight's Taco Tuesday. Zach Rackham. I was kind of hoping for change in the Federation, but I don't think we're going to get that. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because it's not over until it's over. He's still got a chance, and what will that look like? I don't know. But I personally don't care if he was a pirate lord. I tend to judge people based on their current character. A lot of people have done bad things in their lives in the past, and part of the human experience is growing and changing and learning from our mistakes and learning from the things that we've done bad and working to make ourselves better. And if Zach Rackham was like this horrible person in the past and he's not anymore and he's trying to lead the Federation into a better way, oh man, that's the ultimate redemption story. I just don't see it happening. We'll have to see. Hey everybody, I'm Commander Exorcist. Thanks for spending time with me tonight. Take care, fly safe, and I will see you out there. Good night.